Good morning to mates. My name is Irene Rodriguez, and in this opportunity, I'm going to share with you my research project. So, the research question is: how can ICTs be applied with primary students to prevent and implement knowledge and advances in writing skill during the process of the acquisition of a second language? The research proposal is how to promote and strengthen the grading skill in elementary students, which show weaknesses in their performance, analyzing the assertive role of ICTs in the process of the acquisition of a second language. The state problem is the learning language requires not only knowing how to express ideas orally, but also developing writing skills to communicate them. Writing tends to be a neglected skill in second language teaching, especially in the first years of instruction. As a consequence, writing remains one of the most evident weaknesses when students reach higher level of second language proficiency. The technology definitely cultivates the students' interest and motivation in study and can be implemented to help lower student affective filter. The objective of technology in language teaching is encourage student motivation, positive thinking, and communication skill in social practice environment. The implementation of ICT as a tool improve the writing skill and the cognitive development is an effective proposal, promotes learning and motivate young learners. The ICTs it offers language learners the opportunity to implement significantly their writing process in an authentic context. The general objective of the research is to determine how the support of an online educational platform ICTs will benefit the writing ability of elementary students during the writing process in the acquisition of a second language. Specific objectives to identify the impact of ICT in education on access, use of, attitude toward, and learning outcomes during the writing process into a second language. The second specific objective is to recognize how ICTs can be applied to specific weaknesses and needs of elementary students using it as a support tool in their writing process. Improve the writing ability through the ICT mainly based on the intention of helping students to advance in this important component of the acquisition of a second language, and also with the objectives to incorporate ICT since technology today is part of the normal life of young children and is an education tool to help them motivate themselves toward meaningful learning. The research proposal proposed to investigate the importance of using ICT as a learning tool and supporting the ability to write not only in the mother tongue but also in the process of acquiring a second language in elementary school students. The research design, the research paradigm is pragmatics. It research believes that the reality is constantly rigorously debated, interpreted, and therefore the best method to use is the one that solves the problem. The research approach is a quantitative research. The quantitative research involves collecting and converting data into numerical form so that statistical calculation can be made and conclusions drawn. The participants in this study will carry out with a group of 20 persons whose age range from 14 to 60 years old, resolving surveys and direct interview during the research. The instruments for the collation, so the instruments for this action research project include surveys and a direct dialogue with the interviewers. Each procedure will be implemented randomly to find out if the use of ICTs contributes to improving the instructor for the thought and the grading process through open questions according to their experiences in education, whether as students, parents, or a teacher. To analyze the data collected in the research, I will follow the qualitative approach. It is quality because a set of graphs representing figures obtained through the study were used to provide consistent evidence. On the other hand, an informed analysis was used that examines the data for a quality perspective. Finding out that the results survey showed the importance of providing to present and the next generation of students a workplace where ICT, particularly specific tools, the internet and other related technologies are becoming increasingly important to improve the grading skills. So in general, it was the proposal research. So it was really motivated to find a lot of materials um, to give me the opportunity to compare and to find different strategies and different tools that we can apply with these kids and focusing in this ability. So we find a lot of references and all of them were really um, important to develop the research. Thanks a lot. Bye.